Hello students, we are starting a new chapter, reproduction in lower and higher animals. And in this chapter we are focusing on human reproduction. Let us understand what is meant by reproduction. Reproduction is biological process of formation of new life from pre-existing similar life. Meaning one organism can produce new organism of its same kind. That means cat will give birth to kittens, dogs will give to puppies, and so on. One of the major life process of any living organism, it helps in maintaining continuity of the species. As we know, lifespan or the duration of the life of different organisms is different, but it is limited. No animal can live forever. So, to ensure the continuity of the species of that animal on earth, reproduction is a major process. It enables the species to survive over a long period, even though individuals or organisms live naturally for a limited period of time. Okay, as mentioned earlier, the lifespan of animals of species is limited. So in order to make sure that the animal lives on the planet, the reproduction is necessary. It is done by two methods: asexual reproduction and sexual. Asexual reproduction is shown by lower phyla such as Porifera coelenterata. The animals reproduce asexually by processes called as budding or binary fission, where the fusion of gametes is not required. Now, sexual reproduction in animals. Sexual reproduction can be defined as the process which involves production of offsprings. Offsprings means the young ones by formation and fusion of gametes. Fusion of gametes is also called as amphimixis. In animals, gamete formation primarily involves meiosis. Animals have the gonads or primary sex organs where the haploid gametes are produced by a process called as meiosis. Meiosis is reduction cell division where the genetic content is reduced to half. Sexually reproducing animals show two main phases in their life. Earlier juvenile phase is where somatic body growth of organisms takes place and there is no sexual reproduction. Later, when the organism attains maturity or puberty, the reproductive maturity phase is seen where physical growth is almost over. Now the animal will not grow physically, but it shows activity of the sex organs and animal now can reproduce sexually. Now in sexual reproduction there are following events that are seen. Pre-fertilization. Before actual fusion of gamete takes place, there is formation of gametes, which is called as gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Male gamete is usually the motile gamete or moving gamete. The male gamete has to go to the female gamete, go towards or go near the female gamete, and the gametic transfer is seen in pre-fertilization phase. Second, that is fertilization phase, is where fusion of male and female gametes takes place. And third is post-fertilization events, where after fusion of gametes, formation of zygote and embryogenesis or embryonic development takes place. Now there are animals who can breed throughout the year or show reproduction throughout the year, and some can during only a particular period of year. Now the first type is seasonal breeders. They can breed in a restricted time of the year, example goat, sheep and donkey. And the other type is continuous breeders. They can breed throughout the years, such as humans and apes. human reproduction. Humans are sexually reproducing animals. Now here you can see the steps of reproduction sequentially. First step is gametogenesis, formation of male and female gametes. Now in humans we can see sexual dimorphism. Male and females are distinguished. Female produces ova, the female gamete, and male produces spermatozoa or sperms. Then the second step is insemination. Male gametes have to be transferred into the female genital tract. Third is internal fertilization. Now one must understand this. The fusion of gametes takes place inside the body of the female. So it is internal fertilization. In case of frogs, the fertilization takes place outside the body of female in the aquatic environment. So that is called as external fertilization. But humans show internal fertilization. Then the fourth step is zygote formation and embryogenesis. After fusion of male and female gametes, a diploid zygote is formed. In earlier mentioned slide, we know that we have seen that the gametes are formed by a process called as meiosis. In meiosis, the gametes contain, due to meiosis, the gametes contain only half the genetic content, and male and female gametes, when they fuse, they restore the diploid genetic content of the human species. So after zygote formation, the embryogenesis start. Gestation takes place, that is, the embryo gets implanted in the uterine membrane of female, and it completes its development in the womb or uterus of female. That period is called as gestation period, which is of 9 months. And lastly, parturition, or which is also called as childbirth. The gametes, sperms and eggs are produced by primary sex organs. In males, the sex organ is testes, which produces sperms or spermatozoa, and in females, ovary are the primary sex organs where the eggs are produced or ova are produced. Secondary sex organs are the organs of reproductive system other than testes and ovary, but they help in the reproduction. What are secondary sexual characters or sexual dimorphic characters? These are certain external characters by which you can identify a male and a female, such as mustache, hair on chest, muscular body, enlarged larynx, which is called as Adam's apple. These are the secondary sexual characters of a male, and in female there are developed breast, broader pelvis, high pitched voice. These characters make us identify a female. Now, to begin with, we are going to understand the reproductive systems of male and female. To start with, we are going to talk about male reproductive system. It consists of first the primary male organ, gonad, which are called as testes. Then the accessory ducts, and third is the gland. The primary male organ or testes is the organ where actually gametes are produced, and the accessory ducts and glands produce secretion which help the transfer of sperms to the female genital tract. Now here we have a diagram of male reproductive system. Now let us start with a pair of testes. These are mesodermal in origin. These are formed in the lower abdominal cavity. Location is in the scrotum, which is a pouch. During early fetal life, the testes are developed in the abdominal cavity, and later they descend or come down into scrotal sac through a passage called as inguinal canal. Testes are present outside the abdominal cavity in the scrotal sacs. This is important because the temperature of the scrotum is couple of degrees less than the body temperature, which is important for spermatogenesis. Shape is oval. Now here I can show you the testes. Shape is oval. It is 4 to 5 centimeter long and 2 to 3 centimeter wide, 3 centimeter thick. Now histology of testes. Now each testes, if we take a section of testes, you can see the different layers, protective layers first. Now here you can see the incomplete peritoneal layer outermost, which is called as tunica vaginalis. Then inside to tunica vaginalis there is tunica albuginea. This is tunica vaginalis, which has again two layers, and inside to this is tunica albuginea. This is forming septa, which divides the testes into number of chambers. Inside to tunica albuginea there is a layer called as tunica vasculosa, vascular layer. Now fibers from tunica albuginea divide each testis into 200 to 300 testicular lobes. Now here you can see the different lobes of testes formed due to the fibers from tunica albuginea. And in each lobe you can see a lot of tubular structures, which are called as seminiferous tubules. Now each seminiferous tubule shows the developing sperms. It is lined internally by cuboidal germinal epithelium. Now I am going to show you the histological structure in detail. If you take section here, you can see the small seminiferous tubules. Each is showing the developing stages of spermatozoa, sperms. Now these are internally lined by cuboidal germinal epithelial cells. Now seminiferous tubules at the base show these germinal epithelial cells, which are called as spermatogonia, and there are few pyramidal cells also. These are called as Sertoli cells. These are cells for nourishment of the developing spermatozoa. Then the germinal epithelial cells undergo gametogenesis to form spermatozoa. Sertoli cells provide nutrition. Various stages of spermatogenesis can be seen. Now let us see sequentially what are the stages. At the base there are the spermatogonial cells, which are formed from germinal epithelium. These are diploid. Then from spermatogonial cells we get primary spermatocytes, which is again diploid. Then secondary spermatocytes. Now here they are haploid. And finally spermatids and sperms. So the spermatogonial cells enter meiosis, and finally the sperms or spermatozoa are formed. From one spermatogonial cells we get 4 sperms. The interstitial cells or Leydig cells are present between the seminiferous tubules. They secrete male hormone androgen and testosterone. Now here you can see scattered among the seminiferous tubules are the interstitial cells. Then accessory ducts. Now duct system of the male reproductive system we can see. Retitestis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens and ejaculatory duct urethra are the duct system. Now the sperms that are formed in the testes, they have to be carried and they have to be transferred to the female genital tract through this duct system. Now let us see retitestis. This is a network of tubules at the posterior surface of testes formed by seminiferous tubules. Now I'm going to show you the next slide first. Or we have to go to, I think, the previous one. Now see here, you all can see retitestis is a network of tubules which leads to vasa efferentia, then epididymis. Here is the epididymis. Retitestis is a network of tubules at the posterior surface of testes formed by seminiferous tubules, as I just showed you. Vasa efferentia, 12 to 20 fine tubules arising from retitestis. They carry sperms from testes and open into epididymis. Again, we will go back and see. Retitestis, vasa efferentia and epididymis. Epididymis is a long, highly coiled tube differentiated into upper caput, middle corpus and lower cauda epididymis. Now epididymis you could see as a long, highly coiled tubular structure. Here also it is visible and divided into three parts: cauda, caput, corpus and cauda. Cauda is tail or the posterior part. Sperms undergo maturation in epididymis. Vas deferens is posterior to epididymis and travels up to abdominal cavity and loops over urethra to open up into the urethra. Now see here this tubular structure. This is vas deferens. It goes up into the abdominal cavity, loops over the ureters. Okay, these are the ureters here. These are part of the excretory system. Ureters are the long tubes which come down from kidneys and they pour urine into this bag like structure which is called as the urinary bladder. Now, before opening into urethra, vas deferens joins duct of seminal vesicle to form the ejaculatory duct. Now, here you will see these ureter and seminal vesicle join to form ejaculatory duct which opens into the urethra. Ejaculatory duct passes through the prostate gland and opens into urethra. Here this is the prostate gland through which the duct passes. Ejaculatory duct opens into the urethra. Now urethra is a common passage for urine and semen, so it is called as the urinogenital duct. Semen is the discharge of male reproductive system which carries sperms and other secretions. Urethra in males is long and extends through the penis. It opens to outside by an opening called as urethral meatus or urethral orifice. All these ducts except urethra are in pairs. There is a single urethra, longer, and it is a common passage for reproductive discharge and urine. So it is also called as urinogenital duct. There are different glands: seminal vesicle, prostate gland and Cowper's gland or bulbourethral gland. For this we have to go to the previous slide again. Here you can see the seminal vesicles, then prostate gland. I'll show you with a pointer. Seminal vesicle, prostate gland and bulbourethral glands. Okay, so now that we have understood the location, we'll see what is their function. Seminal vesicles are a pair of glands lying on the posterior side of urinary bladder. We could see them posterior to urinary bladder. They are secreting alkaline seminal fluid containing fructose, fibrinogen, prostaglandins. About 60% of the total semen is made up of the discharge from seminal vesicle. Fructose is for energy, which for the sperm movement, while fibrinogen coagulates the semen into bolus for quick propulsion in vagina. The male gametes, spermatozoa, these are the motile gametes, they have to go to the pass through the female genital tract and reach the female gamete. For that they need energy, and this energy is provided by the fructose present in the secretion of seminal vesicles. Prostaglandin stimulates reverse peristalsis in vagina and uterus, aiding faster movement of sperm towards egg in the female body. So, all these secretions are for effective and faster movement of sperms towards the female gamete egg. Then prostate gland, a large single gland through which the ejaculatory duct passes and opens into the urethra. This large single gland is made up of 20 to 30 lobes located underneath urinary bladder. Just now we saw the location of this gland. Surrounds the urethra, releasing milky white, slightly acidic prostatic fluid into the urethra. Forms about 30% of volume of semen. It contains citric acid, acid phosphatase, and various other enzymes. The acid phosphatase protects the sperm from acidic environment of vagina. Now, discharge of seminal vesicle is activating or giving energy to the sperms, while the secretion of prostate gland is protecting the sperm from the environment in the female genital tract. Third gland, Cowper's gland or bulbourethral gland, small pea-sized paired gland situated on either side of urethra. These secrete an alkaline viscous mucus-like fluid which acts as lubricant during copulation. During copulation, the male reproductive organ, the penis, has to get inserted into female genital tract, and for the lubrication of the copulation, the secretion is secreted by Cowper's or bulbourethral gland. Lastly, the secretion of male reproductive system, semen, which contains the male gametes. We'll talk about it. Viscous alkaline and milky fluid, pH is 7.2 to 7.7, ejaculated by male reproductive system. 2.5 to 4 ml of semen is given out during single ejaculation. It has about 400 million sperms. Contains secretion of epididymis, the accessory glands for nourishing, fructose, neutralizing acidity, calcium bicarbonate, and activation for movement is prostaglandins. So, secretions from the glands of male reproductive system and the spermatozoa formed by testes, these all together form semen or discharge of the male reproductive system. Now, external genitalia. It includes penis and scrotum. Scrotum is the sac-like structure in which the testes are located. Penis is male copulatory organ, cylindrical and muscular. 3 bundles of erectile tissue are there. Corpora cavernosa, a pair of posterior lateral tissue, median corpus spongiosum, and swollen tip is called as glans penis, covered by loose fold of skin called as foreskin or prepuce. Scrotum is a loose pouch of pigmented skin lying behind the penis, divided into right and left scrotal sac by septum tunica dartos, made from smooth muscle fibers. Fetal testes are guided into and retained in scrotum by a short fibromuscular band called as gubernaculum. The testes remain suspended in scrotum by spermatic cord. Now I'm going to show you here. Here are the spermatic cords by which the testes remain suspended in scrotum. Cryptorchidism is the failure of testes to descend into scrotum. Failure also results in sterility. So, testes, if they are not descended into scrotum from abdomen. Now the development takes place in the abdominal cavity, and then later testes descend into scrotum. And if it is failed, it can be resulted into a condition called as cryptorchidism, or it is also called as the sterility. The cremaster and diatosmosis of scrotum help in drawing testes close or away from body, maintaining the temperature of testes 2 to 3 degrees lower than the normal body temperature. As mentioned earlier, the less temperature is needed for formation of male gametes. The process is called as spermatogenesis. Here we finished talking about the male reproductive system.